Well, let's go back and let's take a look at some historical ideas on this and evidence that Jesus was crucified, that he did die and was crucified. And we won't even go to Christian sources. Let's go to non-Christian sources, because there are plenty of these that we could go to that talk about these Roman historians, Greek historians that mention, even Jewish ones, mentioning the death of Christ by crucifixion. Tacitus, one of the Roman historians back just at the latter part of the Apostles, around 115 AD, he wrote a book that's called The Annals, and you can buy it today or you can download it on the internet and stuff like this. I have a copy of it myself. And in The Annals, what we would call like chapter 15, section 44, he describes the death of Jesus. Now, he's a Roman historian. He is not a Christian, but he is describing in detail the death of Jesus by Roman crucifixion. Later on, there's another person that comes along, Mara bar Serapion. He's a person who wrote a book called The Ante-Nicene Fathers, translations of the writings of the fathers down to 325 AD. Now, he's a little bit later on after the apostles, but the thing is, he's writing history, and he's recording from historical sources that he has that Jesus was indeed killed by Roman crucifixion. And some of these guys actually mentioned that it was Pontius Pilate who did it under the reign of Tiberius Caesar. It all fits perfectly with the Bible. Even the Jews, the Jewish Talmud in the Sanhedrin 43a, which was written around 190 AD, it too talks about the murder of Jesus as talking about him being crucified. It is actually in there. Another Jew, Flavius Josephus, very famous Jewish historian, lived in the latter part of the Apostles, fought against the Romans, and he wrote a very popular book, it's in public domain today, called The Antiquities of the Jews. Book 18, chapter 3.3, he talks about the death, the murder of the king of the Jews, Jesus. And he talks about him being crucified. He also talks about John the Baptist and other things. So we hear a lot from sources. And there's more ancient sources. We don't have time on this right now, but there are so many other ancient Roman historians that wrote about the death of Jesus as a historical event. We don't have to just take the Christian word for it. Non-Christian Roman and Greek sources also mention this. And even today, we have new theories popping up every now and then. And there's an organization called the Jesus Seminar. Sounds like a Christian organization. They're often used on CBS, NBC, ABC, CNN, etc. Around Christmas and Easter time. And they are supposedly experts on the life of Jesus. They're not Christians. One of their leaders, John Dominique Crossan, who is a former Catholic priest, and he's one of the leaders of this seminar. He wrote a book back in 1991 called Jesus, A Revolutionary Biography. On page 145 in his book, he actually talks about the murder of Jesus. And he says, the death of Jesus by crucifixion is as sure as anything historical can ever be. There is so much documentation on it. So, just with that, I believe we could go on further and further, but I think we have made the point here that there are a lot of independent, non-Christian citations that Jesus did die under the hands of the Romans by crucifixion.